Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. This channel is dedicated to finding out whether I really do know it all or not. In my continuing series on the coronavirus/COVID-19 outbreak, I wanted to talk today about how to feel fulfilled. If you haven't seen my other videos, make sure that you look up here. I'll have a link to a lot of them in there. I think it's useful to look at some of those. Yesterday I did kind of a downer. So today I thought, let's talk about a positive thing. Let's talk about how to feel fulfilled. So obviously the massive change that has occurred in the world means that we all feel a little bit at sea right now, right? Or it's just like everything's different. And depending on what country you're in, it will be more or less different. But certainly things are not the same as they were 3 months ago. Wow. Very much not the same. Try to imagine what it was like on New Year's Eve. And it's kind of hard to imagine the same world anymore. Okay, so the question then is, how do we address that? How do we fix that problem? I think the number one thing to do is to try to continue to be productive, right? So the number one thing, this is a crazy thing, but get dressed. I have a nasty tendency when I'm on holidays or even a weekend or something of staying in my bathrobe like all day. And if you do that for like one day, that's kind of fun. It's a different thing. But you'll eventually start to feel like you're just at sea, right? Nothing's going on. You're like, oh gosh. So get dressed, like right for real, get dressed. If you are able to work, make sure that you continue to work, obviously within safe limits. If you're working from home, I kind of recommend going to work, like honestly, even to the extent that maybe what you could do is you can go and you could get on your bike or get in your car and you could drive it around the block or something like that and come back home and it's like, okay, now I'm at work, right? I mean, if that makes you feel better, then do that. Just something, even if it's kind of silly and it makes you laugh, it will kind of differentiate work life from home life. And I think that can be very useful if you want. Also create a schedule for every day. So before you go to sleep the night before, like, I mean, I'm assuming that you've done this in the past, right? If you never made a schedule for your life, then I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter. But if you always were like, oh, tomorrow is Tuesday, so I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go to the gym first, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and I'll be at work, and I'll have lunch with these people, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to make this kind of dinner. Do the same thing, right? Try to normalize this. Try to make your life the same, even though so many things are different. Try to come up with a schedule for what you can do each day. Also, I would recommend doing something around the house every day or the apartment, depending on where you live. So that could be like really small. Maybe you're terrible about washing dishes and you can wash some dishes one day to try to make yourself feel productive. You could do bigger things, like maybe there's a leak in one of your faucets, or maybe there's a spot on the wall that needs repainting. You can do that, right? So you can do repair projects that you've put off. You can do smaller things. You can vacuum a rug, whatever. It doesn't have to be big, but even if you do one little thing, you're like, okay, I accomplished that today. So that's like really important to do, if possible. Another thing would be to, if it's been part of your schedule in your life, try to work out. You're probably going to have to get creative. Like all the places that I used to go, the gyms that I would go to are shut down now. So I'm like, So today, for example, when I get done with this, I'm going to do some stretching for yoga. I have a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I haven't done it in a decade, and so it's kind of terrifying to think about getting back into it, but I'm like, you know what? Let's do that, right? This is an opportunity to get back into practicing that again, so something like that. If you can get outside, go outside and run. If not, maybe you can do some Zumba class or something that's on YouTube, and you can watch it, and you can but, I think working out is really important, if that was part of your routine before. And maybe if not, maybe you can start now. So again, I think that the outcome of all of this is the more productive you feel, the more normal you'll feel. You'll feel like, I've lived a normal day. I've done something, right? If you stay in your bathrobe and lay in bed and eat potato chips and watch videos all day, well, you should watch my videos, but don't just watch them all day, right? Set aside times for that. Anyway, the more normal you'll feel after all that. I would also say on another front, maybe have events at home. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel said he was having formal Fridays, and so at our household we had a formal Sunday dinner. Like we cooked a really nice meal, and we all got dressed up, and we all sat at the table, and we cleaned it off, and my wife, Lane, put out like a really nice spread of like dishes and things, and so it was very nice, right? It made it feel special. So trying to do something like that once a week is probably a good idea. Another thing is, by all means, try to get outside. It really sucks for us right now because it's like just miserably gross outside. It's raining, it's thunderstorming, so it's really hard to get out the last couple of days. But, if at all possible, get outside. Even no matter what, I'm going to walk the dogs this afternoon, even if we all get drenched. It doesn't matter. I think it's that important to get outside and to sort of feel that. Of course, if you're in a high-risk area, don't get around other people, so stay away from them. But if you can get outside, I think it's a good idea. And one last thing to think about is consider this an opportunity. If you can recast your imagination, if you can recast your expectations from, oh gosh, what a terrible thing this is, to, wow, this actually provides some opportunities that I may not have thought about before. So what are some things that you've wanted to do, but you've always been like, oh, too busy, too stressed, whatever, to do these things? One possibility might be to read. That's easy enough to do. And certainly with like online libraries and stuff, you can download something to your phone and you can read it on there, so you don't even have to go to the library. Or if you have a bookshelf of books that you've never read, then you can go ahead and do that. You could do yoga, right? Like I said, I'm going to try to do that myself today. I think that that's a pretty cool idea, something that's stretchy, something that's just relaxing. Again, you can put on a video, you can follow it, so you can pick your length of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, whatever. Study a new subject. One of the nice things about the online world is that you have access to tons and tons of different things to study. So maybe there's something you've always wanted to learn about, and you can study that, right? So there you go. And one thing I'm doing, actually, is I'm doing a sourdough starter. So I'm following along. I think it's Josh Weissman. I'll put a link to his actually, I'll try to put it up there. I'll put a link to his video here, and he's got a thing where you can make sourdough starter from just flour and water in a week. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do for the next week? I'm stuck at home. And it's actually working. It's pretty cool. It's starting to like bubble and stuff, which is just nuts. So, out of all of this, I may have some sourdough starter. So completely silly, but it's something that makes me happy, and I'm kind of like, oh, yay. So, all right. So anyway, I think that the key takeaway to all of this is try to normalize things. Try to make it as normal as you can. Try to see the positives in this. Try to recast your imagination into thinking of this as an opportunity, at least having some opportunities rather than just being completely terrible. It is terrible. Nobody's happy about this, I'm sure. But you have to do the best you can to try to make this feel like a positive overall. And we're all going to come out the other side, as long as you stay healthy and safe. Make sure you wash your hands, all the good stuff. Make sure you stay away from other people. But yeah, so stay safe, stay healthy. Try to come up with a positive way of thinking of all of this, and enjoy life as much as you can under any circumstances. I think that's a Zen aphorism, is that life happens around you, but what you have control over is how you react to that. Like, how does your mind react to these things? And if you can find a positive in any outcome or any circumstance, that is a wonderful thing. So think about that. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you like the video, hit the bell icon, and make sure you subscribe. I'm popping these out once per day, so I think it's really important for you to subscribe so you can kind of catch these as they come. Thank you very much again. Until next time, bye-bye.